This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, an 1885 built locomotive has been unearthed from a Southland river after more than 19 years. Dunedin's Caledonian Ground was the setting for an unexpected new Otago track record on Saturday. And contractors are busy finishing off the construction of the new Music, Theatre and Performing Arts Centre in time for students returning to Dunedin next month. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. A locomotive built in 1885 has been retrieved from the bottom of a Southland river, nearly a century after it was left there. A crane lifted the steam locomotive out of the Oreti River yesterday after it was dumped there in 1927.
Free from its muddy grave for the first time in nearly a century.
So we've finally lifted the locomotive up from the riverbed. It had to come up about 3 or 4 metres, and we managed to get enough mud off it to get it light enough for the crane to get her up on the tank.
Tons of silt and mud were sluiced from the 32-tonne locomotive to make it light enough to be lifted by a 110-tonne crane. Linton Contracting worked on the weighty task, and Russell Brady says it was good to get it up.
It was a major relief, to be honest. The challenge was getting the weight off that one to bring it into a legal lift, and we achieved that this morning, and the result now is on the truck ready to go away.
Bradley says this job isn't all plain sailing, as one train now sits on the back of the truck, was buried along with another one that's not budging.
This is the second one of the V-class locomotives. We've made a decision this morning to leave this one here. It's significantly more damage than the one we retrieved, and logistically getting it out now is probably not feasible anymore.
The Lumsden Heritage Trust is behind the operation, receiving more than $150,000 worth of funding from various organisations to undertake the project. Dunedin rail enthusiast Clark McCarthy says the project to raise the train shines a light on a bygone era.
So it's a time capsule from 1927 till now, as it is basically, and it's really interesting to see it, yeah.
A coal tender was lifted from the same place on Tuesday, and both are set to be relocated to a specially built track at the Lumsden Railway Precinct. The Lumsden Heritage Trust was behind the operation, which started 6 years ago. In Lumsden, the South Today.
3 people are hurt, including one seriously, after a crash involving a train and 2 vehicles south of Oamaru. Police attended the collision on State Highway 1 at the Reedston Rail Crossing, about 15 kilometres south of Oamaru at midday today. A southbound vehicle was stopped at the level crossing when it was allegedly rear-ended by a silver Toyota RAV4. The southbound hatchback was shunted across the other side of the railway tracks, while the RAV4 came to a stop on the tracks in the path of the oncoming train. Police say the train driver saw the scene unfolding but was unable to stop in time, hitting the RAV4, which ended up on its roof. A helicopter transported the 91-year-old female driver of the RAV4 to Dunedin Hospital. Dunedin's Caledonian Ground was the setting for an unexpected new Otago track record on Saturday. 26-year-old Rebecca Green said she was surprised after running in a mixed field to have taken 3 seconds off the Otago senior women's 5,000 metres record.
26-year-old Rebecca Green is back to breaking records on a track she grew up dominating on.
I haven't had a PB on the track in quite a few years, so it was really nice to get personal best, and I wasn't really expecting it, so yeah, it's really good.
Racing 5,000 metres on Saturday at Dunedin's Caledonian Ground, she was surprised to achieve a new personal best in a time of 16 minutes and 30.85 seconds, taking 3 seconds off Shireen Crumpton's Otago senior women's record.
It was good running. They did a mixed race, so we ran with the men as well. The front sort of 5 guys were kind of a group up the front, and then it was Nathan Shanks from Caversham and myself, just sort of I sat in behind him and then sort of felt the pace drop at about 3k, so maybe passed him with about 4 laps to go, and just kind of ran solo from there.
Green's name is littered throughout the Otago women's middle distance records. In both the 1500 and 3000 metres, she holds every record from 14 years up.
I try not to compare myself to back then because it's very different what I've been through, but yeah, it's cool to remember, but not to sort of dwell on and think, oh, that was my glory days, you know.
Yeah.
In 2013, she left for university in the United States, where several bad injuries, plus a heart inflation requiring 3 surgeries, got in the way of her training.
I had 3 years in America of really inconsistent training, so now that the health's back on track, it's showing through.
This year's Olympics look to be out of reach, although she's got an eye on next year's World Championships and the Commonwealth Games. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The Dunedin City Council voted yesterday to reduce bus fares around the city, as well as exploring the possible return of commuter rail services. Councillors voted to add over $500,000 for bus subsidies to its pre-draft annual plan for the upcoming year. Exactly how it will be funded is yet to be determined. Councillors also asked staff to report back on the possibility of rail to alleviate transport demand. Mayor Aaron Hawkins says a growing number of cars in the city and disruption caused by the Dunedin Hospital rebuild were reasons the council should look at a reduction in bus fares. However, councillors were told plans to investigate a central city bus loop had been delayed due to staff changes. Contractors are busy finishing off the construction of the new Music, Theatre and Performing Arts Centre in time for students returning to Dunedin next month. The project involves constructing a new 2-storey recording studio building, as well as refurbishing music suites and other facilities at the College of Education.
Hopefully ready in time for students returning in the last week of February. The University of Otago's new Music and Performing Arts Centre is nearing completion. Located just off Union Street, the $26 million building boasts a large 100-seat recording studio and other facilities. School of Performing Arts head Professor Anthony Ritchie says the building abuts the College of Education with good reason.
It's not just the studio though, it's also adjoining teaching spaces, recording booths, and that links to the rest of the what used to be the College of Education, or what is still the College of Education, but it's now going to be named something else.
The new building serves as a replacement for the recording facilities in the former Radio New Zealand building in Albany Street, which had to be shut down due to asbestos.
The demise of Albany Street really was a catalyst for the action, and so we've got this wonderful new building. Yeah, it's going to be great for our students.
The new facility includes percussion rooms for drummers to learn their skills, as well as a guitar lab and a state-of-the-art recording studio with a high-end mixing desk.
Our students will benefit from being able to do studio production, recording, performing, all the sorts of things that contemporary students are into. So it's going to be a multi-purpose sort of facility.
During downtime, the building will be made available for commercial hire as well as high school recording projects.
We did get support for this building from the Community Trust of Otago and others, and so we want to share it with the community.
Most academic and administrative staff of the School of Performing Arts are set to move to offices adjacent to the Performing Arts Centre. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Batten down the hatches, there's a wind warning across many parts of the South. And we have an edition of Global Insight with Professor Robert Patman, who asks, could 2020 be the year New Zealand is announced as a minor global superpower? So see you after the break.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274. Lana Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny.
Welcome back. A wind warning is now in place across Canterbury and Otago after the threat level was upgraded this morning. The Met Service has issued a warning for severe northwest gales expected to reach 130 kilometres an hour in exposed places around Fiordland, Southland, Stewart Island and Clutha until 5 a.m. Further north, winds are expected to reach 140 kilometres an hour in exposed places in the Canterbury High Country from this evening until 9 a.m. In today's Global Insight, Professor Robert Patman says this could be the year New Zealand emerges as a minor global power. The Dunedin-based international affairs expert says we are in an era of global transition in which some of the old certainties and conventional wisdoms are being challenged.
We're already a month into 2020, but we want to pause and consider what is on the horizon for this year. Welcome, Robert.
Morning, Bruce.
Internationally, a lot is already going on. Which are you picking as the geopolitical hotspots to watch out for?
Well, we're in an era of global transition. American dominance of the early 90s has receded, the so-called unipolar moment. Mr. Trump's undergoing the impeachment process at the moment. Some commentators believe that Mr. Trump has had quite a negative effect on the global economy. He's engaged in a trade war with China. And there are also some disquieting signs looking forward about the American economy. Debt in the United States has piled up. Mr. Trump has cut taxes and at the same time increased military expenditure. The military in the United States is at this as we speak, is 2020, it's absorbing about $750 billion a year. I think China is another superpower which is also having legitimacy problems at home. It hasn't hit the headlines too much, but the Chinese are dealing with considerable difficulty of a problem with the Muslim minority in China, and that is beginning to get into the international headlines. The Uyghurs, something like between 1 million and 1.5 million Uyghurs have been detained in facilities likened to concentration camps. And there's the problem of Hong Kong. The Chinese leadership really faces a very difficult problem here because on the one hand, they may be tempted to simply intervene and crush the democracy uprising in Hong Kong. If they do that, they risk self-inflicted damage on their economic relations with key markets like Japan, the United States, and the EU. But if they don't do something, then the democracy movement has the possibility of spreading to within China itself. So that's a worry for the Chinese leadership. And I think there are certainly signs, interestingly, in 2020 that the two superpowers are facing challenging internal situations with international reverberations.
What are you picking as the big issue of 2020?
Well, the figures are in. We now know that we've had the hottest decade in human history for the last 10 years. So I think the climate issue is not going to go away, and the data is probably going to, we've seen terrible wildfires in Australia recently. We've seen the Antarctic and Arctic melting at an alarming rate, and we are seeing climate-fueled migrations. So we're beginning to get an alarming picture build up. And let's face it, we've known about this problem for the best part of 2 or 3 decades, but I think the issue now is beginning to really gain momentum, and particularly amongst young people who are quite angry at what might be described as many of the people who are in power at the moment. They feel there's not enough being done. The scale of the problem, to fix the problem, is enormous, Bruce, because it's been neglected for so long. To get emissions down to the 1.5% level suggested by the UN, that would take a massive attempt or massive program of reducing carbon emissions by about 7.6% in each country of the world. And we're nowhere near that in New Zealand, for example.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Bruce.
We'll be watching with interest. And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight. Sai Jian.
And you can view the full interview with Professor Patman online at odt.co.nz. After the break on the South Today, the Central Otago Wool-On fashion event gets the green light to proceed from the Central Otago District Council. And we have tomorrow's weather for you, so see you after the break.
Larnach Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. The Central Otago Wool On Fashion event is full steam ahead after being granted $10,000 by the Central Otago District Council. The grant has been awarded despite council staff yesterday recommending no funding for the event. The Wool On Committee had requested a grant of just over $33,000 to hold what has become an annual event. However, council staff advised there was no specific money available. After discussion, councillors voted to allocate $10,000 from general reserves, provided the event would go ahead. Wool On has been facing opposition after deciding to shift to the Highlands Motorsport Park in Cromwell after it had been running in Alexandra since 2004. A Wool On spokesperson says the audience and participants come from across the region and the event has become more than just Alexandra. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. An 1885 built locomotive has been unearthed from a Southland river after more than 90 years. Dunedin's Caledonian Ground was the setting for an unexpected new Otago track record on Saturday. And contractors are busy finishing off the construction of the new Music, Theatre and Performing Arts Centre in time for students returning to Dunedin next month. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Hayden Meeker, what have you got for us in tomorrow's paper?
Good evening, Mel. Well, look, it's all been happening in Otago today. It's been an incredibly busy day for emergency services, sadly, which obviously is not great news. We've had a fatal car crash near Queenstown, continuing a really awful start to the year on our southern roads, which is really worrying. A big fire at a Gibson Valley winery. I think a couple of helicopters, all sorts of appliances attending that fire. I'm looking forward to finding out what the latest.
And it's very dry over there at the moment too. Hopefully they contain that soon.
Fire ban here, there and everywhere. And a very rare occurrence up near North Otago, up near Oamaru, a car hit by a train. I think one car shunted into another car, front car went across the tracks and the second car was actually hit by the train. So we're sort of wrapping all that together. We've got photos from the scenes, talking to emergency services who obviously have been very stretched today. So that's a real concern. Also concerned are some of our central Dunedin businesses. So obviously the Octagon experience is underway, part of the Octagon being closed. Young Jacob McSweeney from our business department has been up today talking to business people. Some are very concerned, to put it mildly, saying their takings are down by as much as 50-60% in a day. So this is going to be a huge ongoing issue for everybody. A lot of us want to see the central part of Dunedin pedestrianised. These are people who own businesses, and they need to have their voices heard as well. So, up in Central Otago, they're starting the consultation process over the birthing unit, where it should be Alexandra or Wanaka. So that's another huge story, as is the Super Rugby season, which starts tomorrow. Are you excited, Mel? I'm not really excited.
Okay, wonderful. You can catch all of that in tomorrow's paper. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MolMap.
Starting with the southern view, sailing yachts in a row as a seabird looks on. Looking at the situation, a strong westerly airflow brings gusty winds to southern districts tomorrow, but warmer temperatures are lined up for the weekend as the airflow tends northwesterly. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are looking cloudy and wet with 21 degrees and showers. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim, you can both expect cloudy days and a high of 28 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, Kaikoura aims for 24 degrees with cloudy skies. Christchurch and Ashburton have light cloud and a high of 22 degrees. To the southern towns, the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all looking at strong westerly showers. 19 degrees for Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore, while the Catlins should reach 17. Heading to Central Otago, Wanaka, Alexandra and Queenstown are all set for gusty northwesterlies with clear skies. Wanaka and Alexandra, you should reach 23 degrees. Queenstown, you're set to be a bit cooler on 22, while Tiana, you're set for strong westerlies, rain and a high of 18 degrees. To the northern towns on the coast first, those in Timaru and Oamaru should plan for variable winds and some cloud, 23 for Timaru and 18 for Oamaru. Looking inland, Twizel and Omarama are due for gusty westerlies, fine weather and 24 degrees. In Dunedin, strong gusty southwesterlies tonight with mostly fine weather. Looking at an overnight low of 13, fine tomorrow with cloudy skies and strong cool southwesterlies during the morning, but sunny periods developing later in the afternoon. Looking at a high of 17 and a low of 10. And high cloud on Saturday with milder northerlies freshening during the afternoon, perhaps some rain at night, a high of 21 and a low of 17 degrees. And in Invercargill, southwesterly gales easing tonight with a few showers, looking at an overnight low of 14 degrees. Strong gusty southwesterlies tomorrow with cloudy skies and showers at times. Generally colder for this time of the year, winds easing late in the day, a high of 15 and a low of 12. And milder northwesterlies on Saturday with sunny periods at first, but cloud increasing and some showers developing later on at night. A high of 20 and a low of 15. And that's all from the South Today team for this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.